This is Eagle Owl, and today we're going to talk about OTAs day 2, but we're going to talk about some things that happened at the practice, before practice, like Quniyon responded to Micah Parsons and Ceedee Lamb. We also going to talk about Cooper DeJean, how he's going to be playing the nickel and the outside. We're going to talk about that. And there's a UDFA. Remember Darius Cooper? Heard he had a good day, but let's get straight into it. All right, man, like I said, we're going to talk about a couple things that happened after practice and before. So one of the things I wanted to talk about that happened before the practice was Kevin Patullo. He actually been a big topic, like in the mainstream media, how he's going to carry this offense. And he was asked about his scheme, what exactly he's going to do, what he's going to fix or enhance, and this is what he had to say.
Well, I mean, as far as different, we go through the process at the end of each year of examining what we do well, what we need to improve upon, and then really any trends or anything we see that we can add to it. So I think really when we say different, I think it's going to be like what do our players do best, like it's been, and then from there we just expand upon it. Hey, we're really good at this. Let's bring this to the table and try this and see where we can take it. And I think really when you look at just our staff as a whole, we've added some new coaches, so they bring some other layers to it too, and then the knowledge of what they have from their background. So I think as we go forward, as we build this thing together as a staff, you'll see some new wrinkles here and there, but more so it's just kind of building on what our players do best.
So really vanilla answer, like just focus on the strengths, fix the weaknesses. So we just basically gonna have the same offense, hopefully. But I think a lot of teams gonna play us like how the Chiefs did, meaning they gonna try to force Jalen Hurts to win the game, and I think that's gonna be a big mistake. But I think a lot of teams are gonna take that risk. Also, like Shady McCoy also leaked out that AJ Brown been talking to the media and saying that the offense is basically Jalen Hurts' offense. And let me play that clip.
But the way he coached is like way different from how they played this year. Yeah. If I say like AJ told me, well, players tell me that the offense is really the offense.
No doubt.
They don't care who the corner is. You come over here to fit the Jalen Hurts offense.
No doubt.
Wouldn't you agree that you would?
Do I like that AJ Brown's talking to the media? No, I don't. And I don't think Shady even meant to say that. He meant to say, I just been talking to players and they've been saying this, but he slipped up and said AJ. And honestly, that made me respect Jalen Hurts more. The reason why is because this offense showed it can be successful throwing the ball, but to get the best out of the offense, and if it's Jalen Hurts' call to say, like, you know what, I'm going to take a step back. We're going to hand it off to Saquon and let him win some of these games. Now, if he can't win these games and we got to do what we got to do, cool. But that made me respect Jalen Hurts a lot more because a lot of these quarterbacks like, yeah, I want to win. I want to do this and do that. Well, are you willing to sacrifice your stats? Are you willing to get criticized by the media because you're not putting up those stats? Are you willing to give up a possible MVP? Jalen Hurts did. At least regular season one, because when it came to the Super Bowl one, he got that. So, look, at the end of the day, I know they trying to make this a big thing, and I like how Eagles fans responded to us like, yo, this offense won the Super Bowl. Relax. Like, so Jalen Hurts know what he's doing. So I like how we responded to it. I'm cool with that. I'm definitely cool with that. Also, Dallas Goedert talked about how he thought he wasn't on the team or almost wasn't on the team, whatever. He thought he was going to get traded, going to get cut, but he's happy to be an Eagle. And let me play this clip.
Think you would be back just because of the business of this league and how things seem to be trending?
Yeah, there was a little bit of uncertainty going into the offseason. Talked to my agent, talked with Howie. There was a time where, I wasn't here for the beginning OTAs. We were trying to figure out what was going to happen, and, we came to the agreement of the contract I'm on, and, I'm super stoked to be back here. Got a lot of love for a lot of people in this building, got a lot of love for Philadelphia, so super glad to be back, and, we got high expectations, and, want to help us get back to where we were last year.
Love to see it. So this is something that happened, I believe, at the practice. I seen this. interview with Dallas Goedert, which he did not practice in OTAs. He was there in the facility, but he didn't practice. So I'm just happy to have Dallas Goedert here. And I want to talk about a question that was asked to Quniyon Mitchell. And we're going to get into this topic. It was about the Ceedee Lamb and the Micah Parsons thing, and this is what he had to say.
So it's a little bit of both.
Micah Parsons and Ceedee Lamb were kind of joking about Quniyon and the matchup with you. In your second year, what's it mean to already have like some of the best receivers in the league talking about the challenge of going against you?
I mean, I don't know. I ain't see it. I really don't get into the internet or nothing like that. So
What goes into?
Honestly, I think it's cap. I think Quinion's seen it, but Quinion's not an internet guy. Like, he's not going to go back and forth on the internet type thing. But when he see you, he gonna see you. So it's gonna be a lot of trash talking between him and Ceedee Lamb. I personally believe that. So shout out to Quniyon Mitchell, not really feeding into it. Even though my personal opinion, I think he's seen it, but he just let it be. We're gonna see y'all. We're gonna see y'all in what, 98 days? 99 days? We're gonna see y'all. We definitely gonna see y'all. So let's get into some camp notes. And I got a lot of notes. And I'm gonna break it down little by little. I'm gonna have some highlights playing here and there. So yeah, let's get into these camp notes. All right, so first the announcement was who wasn't there. Who exactly wasn't in the building? So Bryce Huff, Devontae Smith, Landon Dickerson, Reed Blankenship, Avery Williams, Ben Van Sumeren, and Lane Johnson did not come to OTAs. AJ Brown, he was there, and you seen some drills of him, but he technically did not practice, so they counted him out. But he was in the facility with the players and with the guys. So, like Devontae Smith, Lane Johnson, they wasn't in the facility. Reed Blankenship wasn't in the facility. But AJ Brown was there. Again, he just did not practice. Now, obviously, the one that stood out is like Bryce Huff. The reason why is because we know Bryce Huff had a bad season. He's a guy that needs to be there to put out a name for himself. The last time I seen something like this, a high-paid guy who underperformed going to the next season and wasn't at OTAs, was James Bradbury, who had a mysterious injury and just never seen the field. Never seen the field because we didn't want to cut him because we would have lost so much money. We just let his contract expire. So we'll see what we do with Bryce Huff. We know June 1st and stuff coming up, so we'll see what we do with that. Do we just take the L on that? Won't be surprised if we do. But Bryce Huff is the guy to watch. Everybody else, of course, is good as far as like roster, but Bryce Huff, he's on the bubble. So Nolan Smith was there as well. You seen the big brace on his arm. Also spotted Nakobe Dean, who's obviously dealing with a knee injury. We know Jahad Campbell's dealing with some type of injury. The guy that's dealing with an injury that wasn't really reported is Johnny Wilson. Again, you see him on some highlights, but he's dealing with something too. Cam Jurgens as well. So these are some of the guys we got to watch, as the season starts. Cam Jurgens had that bad back injury. This Johnny Wilson thing, again, mysterious. So, yeah, we'll watch those guys when training camp and stuff come around. So the starting defense, to me, it was a little surprising, but I'm not going to put too much, sauce on it because the big ones are like who's going to start between Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson. So Adoree Jackson gets to go. Even though him and Keely Ringo was splitting, but when the 7-on-7s was first announced, Adoree Jackson was out there who got about 1 or 2 more reps than Keely Ringo. So the battle is there, and it's 50-50 right now between Adoree Jackson and Keely Ringo. Now, I made my statement before. If Keely Ringo can't beat out Adoree Jackson, that is a problem. I'm sorry. It just is. The 2 starting safeties was Andrew Mukuba and Sidney Brown. Now, what made that interesting is that Andrew Mukuba was the guy that stayed in the whole time. That say a lot about Andrew Mukuba, and the guy they was rotating out was Sidney Brown. We seen Lewis Seen, we seen Andre Sam, and shout out to Andre Sam because Jalen Hurts went 20 for 21, and the guy that broke up the only pass that Jalen Hurts threw was Andre Sam, who got some first team reps. So again, shout out to Andre Sam making a name for himself and doing good things on the field. He's doing very good things on the field. So he's a guy to watch. As far as making the team, I don't see him beating out Andrew Mukuba or Sidney Brown, but he's a guy, who's battling it out with like Lewis Seen and the other guy. So let's watch Andre Sam. He's really, really good. I thought he was good last year as well. But, this year too, got some experience. Again, shout out to Andre Sam. Also, this was a big thing as you see in the title, Cooper DeJean, right? We all know he's a slot guy. So in nickel, we have Cooper DeJean in the slot. We have Adoree Jackson or Keely Ringo on the outside. Then you have Quniyon Mitchell on the outside, obviously. But the thing was, when we went to our base defense 4-3-3-4, Cooper DeJean went to the outside. Quniyon stayed on the outside. So it looked like we were trending towards having Cooper DeJean on the field 100% of the time, because I think last year was like 80% or something like that. But going into this year, 100% of the time, you're not going to see Cooper DeJean lead the field. So that lets you know, like, he's ready. He's ready for this responsibility. I know he talked about it during his press conference a bit. He was like, yeah, it's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of work. But I think he's up for the task. I think Cooper DeJean can handle it, because we know we can't really move him permanently out the slot, because that's where he makes his meat and potatoes. Like, he's good in that slot, but he's also good on the outside. He did this thing at Iowa as well, so he's going to be a guy to watch. The only thing I don't want to see Cooper DeJean doing is punt returns. I know we got Avery Williams. We got a UDFA guy, I can't think of his name right now, who could do punt returns. So I don't want him doing that, especially if he's going to be on defense 100% of the time. So the first team offensive lineman, I wanted to talk about this a bit because, it's a guy that's battling for the guard spot. We got to watch. And yes, he started Tyler Steen. So there was no Lane Johnson. There was no Landon Dickerson. And at left guard, they had Matt Pryor, then Jordan Mailata, Brett Toff as the center, because we know Cam Jurgens with the back, and then Darian Kennard at right tackle. So that's what we had on the first team offensive lineman. Obviously, that's not going to be the guys going into the season, but the right guard was the one we was really looking at. And right now it's Tyler Steen. I like Matt Pryor a lot, but right now it's Tyler Steen. He's over Kenyon Green. We don't know if he's over Matt Pryor because, again, Matt Pryor slid to the left side. So that offensive line is going to be fun to watch. As I mentioned before, Jalen Hurts, flawless day, 20 of 21. Only pass breakup was a pass to Grant Calcaterra. Andre Sam was all over it. Not really vertical. The one vertical, again, we threw was to Grant Calcaterra, pass breakup. But overall, Jalen Hurts, according to Elliott Short-Parks, had a B+ day. So shout out to Jalen Hurts. Continuing his streak, man. He's still looking good throwing the ball. Doing what we have to do. Mind you, this without his weapons. There's no Dallas Goedert. There's no Devontae Smith. There's no A.J. Brown. So he's doing this with Grant Calcaterra, whoever else was out there. That's what he's working with. And to have 20 or 21 get starting defense guys, got to salute it. And a guy we got to salute on the defense is Jalyx Hunt. He get the first sack on Jalen Hurts on the 11-on-11s. And speaking of that defensive line and getting sacks, we had Jalyx Hunt start. We had Azeez Ojulari. There was no Nolan Smith or Jalen Carter. So we had Moro Jomo out there to replace Jalen Carter. So, yeah, man, Nolan Smith wasn't out there. So we had Azeez out there and Jalyx Hunt. So that worked out. It was good. The defensive line was fine. Ty Robinson, he looked strong and powerful out there, making stuff happen. He didn't start just yet, but when he was out there, he was making moves. To me, Ty Robinson, I think he's going to start going into week 1. I think he's going to start. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. You know who else was interesting during the OTAs was Will Shipley. Now, it's hard to gauge running backs like Will Shipley and A.J. Dillon, who both had a great day, but there were no pads. But what made Will Shipley day stick out is because he caught a lot of passes. He caught 5 passes. He showed the element he could bring for us in the passing game. Whereas though we know AJ Dillon, he's just a thumper. He's not in the passing game. He's there. Second is second. Ball at the 5-yard line. He's going to get some yards. That's what AJ Dillon is for. But it's good to see Will Shipley versatile his game or add some more elements to his game, whereas though he can see the field, especially if he's catching a lot of passes out the backfield. Tanner McKee looked really, really sharp, and the UDFA catch the first touchdown of the day, and that's Darius Cooper, the guy you guys seen in the title, Darius Cooper. If you don't remember, he went to Tallerton State, if I'm saying that right. I don't know that school, but what I do know, this dude is built like a bigger A.J. Brown, and he was out there doing this thing. He was the deep threat out there, and he was on the second team, a UDFA on the second team, mind you. Well, there was no A.J. Brown, there was no Devontae Smith, which is cool, but he was making noise. He was doing his thing. This UDFA. I love my UDFAs that make noise, especially at the receiver position, something that's really hard to do. Darius Cooper, man, he's a guy to watch. He's the guy to watch because to me, he plays the traditional wide receiver. While a lot of the other wide receivers we got, as far as a UDFA, you hoping they could be special teams guy. This guy can, sub in case of an injury. Hopefully that don't happen. And he could apply pressure to some of these receivers, man, for that wide receiver 4 spot. He can apply a lot of pressure the way he play. He plays physical. He plays tough. He rarely drop passes. And he's also a deep threat. He's a deep threat. So he keep building on that. He can have a future in the NFL for sure. So shout out to Darius Cooper, man. Shout out to Darius Cooper. But back to Tanner McKee, finished 14-18, getting a touchdown. Strong day by Tanner McKee, who looked very sharp at QB2. Now, QB3 was interesting because you thought they'd go with Kyle McCord, the guy we drafted, but it was DTR. Third team didn't get really too much reps, but what I focused on that offensive line, and it looked like we going with the Mckee Becton experiment again. Remember I mentioned the other UDFA from Rutgers, Hollins. Yes, him. We still got him at guard. Mind you, he could be one of the bigger tackles, but we trying these bigger guards. So right now, Hollin Pierce, still at guard. Dotson got some reps against Quniyon Mitchell and beat him. So that lets you know Dotson, he ain't playing. He wants some more touches, and I can't wait to see what Dotson do. Dotson is a baller. We know what he did in Washington. And let's see if we could get just a tad bit more touches. That's why I want us to add to our game. Just give Dotson more touches, man. Please give him more touches because he deserves it. To me, he ended the season really well. To me, he wasn't really bad. He played this role just right. Never cried, never complained. But when the ball came his way, he made the most of his opportunities. So we're going to see what Dotson do. But again, that's all the notes I got. And we're going to talk about more OTAs. If I forgot anything, I'll probably bring it up in another video. And I'll just keep scavenging and watching and see what's going on. But as of right now, that's all I got for you guys today. Hey, man, what do you think? How do you feel? A lot of notes. It's giving us training camp flashbacks, but I'm going to keep getting them notes as we go into it. I think we closed out to the media today. I could be wrong, but we'll see. We'll definitely see. But this is Eagle Owl, man. I'm out.